Hey guys, John back again. Hey, so one of the issues I had in a new house that I bought was an issue that almost every lock had a different key. So we had storm doors with a key. We had some of the deadbolts had a key. Some of the other ones had a different key. Some of them had doorknobs with a key. So you had a bunch of keys. In the house before us, we had so many keys that I had difficult. Some of them I just put in a drawer and just didn't use the door. So in this, I decided that the cost of a locksmith to change all the locks was quite expensive. So I decided to look into how to do this myself. And so from now on, that's what I do. The new house I moved into, 80% of the locks were Schlage locks, and you can rekey all of them to one key. And then my plan in the future is to replace the locks that are left with Schlage and rekey them to the same key. On this, what I'm doing is I'm going to be replacing a deadbolt with one of these automated locks, one of these Schlage automated locks. But it still has a key, so even though it runs off a battery and a code, if the battery goes dead, you just pull your key out and you can use the key when you need to. But I don't want to use this key. I want to use mine. So some basics in this, all the keys, I don't know, let's see if you can turn it around and show you. All the keys have a number on them, especially with the Schlage keys. But it doesn't really matter the number, as long as you have a key to determine what each tumbler is. But the number on a Schlage key tells you that. So this key has 55875 on it. See, that light might be too much. There you go. 55875. And that represents this first tumbler is 5. This next one, starting from the key side, the inside of the key, 55875. If you don't have a number, you can buy a little gauge that you stick the key in, and if I flip it over, see if we can do this so you can see it. It's not really easy. There are numbers on the gauge that are 0 through 9. You take the key, and if I stick it into the first tumbler notch and just slide it down until it stops, you'll see that that stops right on 5. And then the next one, pull it back out, stops on 5, pull it back out, stops on 8. That's close, but it's right next to 8. Comes back down, stops on 7, and then the last one comes down and stops on 5. So you can either, if you have a key with numbers, you don't have to bother to write it down. But if you don't have a key with numbers on it, then you can write down those tumblers. Here's my key that I have for all the locks, and it has a number on it. And what I do is I write that number down. Now I'm not going to tell you the number because I don't want you to make your own key, because all you got to do is have the number, and you can sit there and buy a kit. This is a kit. This is a little more expensive kit. This is about 70 bucks, but you can get a kit to do 8 Schlage locks for about $10. And what these kits have in it is what I just showed you, a little measuring tool. Pull that out. This right here is called a follower bar. What this does is it allows you to push the main lock assembly out without any of the tumblers falling out. It holds the tumblers in place because the tumblers are all spring loaded, and these are all the springs here, here, and here. 3 different kinds of springs. Some of them are for cylinders, some of them are for the cap pins, and these are for the top pins. So the one thing you can do is you can take your lock assembly and we get a screwdriver. So we have to pull this assembly out. This portion right here, the portion that has the key. And that's held on by this screw right here. You can see part of the lock assembly there. Just need to take this one out. Take that screw out. And then this pulls right out. You still have everything else in there. We don't need to take that screw out because we don't need to take this whole cylinder out, or this whole casement. All we need is the cylinder. Now, I keep hitting this. Some of them have brackets that go across this back portion. This is where the there are springs for the bottom pins are. We don't need to mess with those. But some of them you have to pull them off to get to the top springs, top pins. That's this, the case actually comes with spares, but we don't need it. Other than that kit, you should get one of these because this actually helps remove this cover. And there's a little, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little pin inside there, but this pushes the pin in and then allows you to unscrew that. So you slide this in, you line it up like that, push it, because that pin is spring loaded, and then you can turn and just be careful when you bring this out. Bring it to the point where it comes out. Now you can pull this off. Make sure, whoops, that I'll show you where that ring goes. That ring actually goes on top of this bar. So, this pin is also in this case. It's called a cylinder cap pin right there. That's these long ones right there. And there's a spring behind it, so you have to be careful. So you pull the pin out, set it aside, and then holding everything in place, tilt, and you'll get a very small spring that comes out. Set that aside. Even though you have your little case, you have your little kit that has extras. I would keep track of them because they can run out really quick. So then you have your follower. You want to make sure your follower slides right in, and you want it where these pins are. Oh, forgot. You need a key. You want to turn this 90 degrees so it lines up on this edge. Then you want to set your follower on. And you want this flat edge to be right along here. These are where your pins are. Come on, get in there. Okay, that holds all your top pins in place. So now, we now have this locked in place. All our top pins are good. And as long as we kept this here, there's all the pins in our cylinder. You want to make sure you keep them up so they don't fall out. So you can go ahead and dump them out. Make some room here so you don't make a mess. So I'm just going to dump them down. Some of them have springs behind them. Some of them don't. Well, the springs are in the top pins. So now all we do is we know we have our key, and we know what numbers we need. Here's our old key. So the first thing we want to do, again, I'm not going to show you what my number is for my key. So I take my box, use some tweezers. I look at my key for my first number, and remember, it's from the inside of the key out is where the first number is. So on our old key, 55875, this is where we stick our key in for our cylinder, will be 55875. Except mine are a little different. So if I go in here and I get a pin, and I'll show you something about the pins. So here's the pin, and if you can see, if I can get it to focus, the pin has a little point on it. Well, it's really difficult to get that to focus. See if I can, there we go. It's having trouble seeing it, but I don't know if you can see that the pin has a very small pointed edge. That's so it can roll over the key easily. And you put that in first. So 4. Oh, come on, get in there. There goes the first one. Well, I should put my key in. Well, no, I'll be okay. Okay, so now let me put mine in. These are all my All right, so I put all mine in. I should be able to stick my key in, and all of these should sit flush. If they don't, see that? So now this key is now keyed to this key. So I can leave the key in, take my cylinder with my follower, make sure my follower is still lined up with those notches right along where the top pins are, because we don't want these springs coming out. Slide it back, place our solder right on the edge, start sliding it in slowly, all the way in, turn it, and that's it. Slide that spring inside that hole. Then you have your cap pin. Your cap pin, doesn't matter which way it goes in. It has a beveled edge on both sides. Stick that in like that. There you go. Now, how I had this, let me set this down. This washer goes inside here first, like that. Then this guy, I'm not sure what this is called. It just slides in on top, like that. Then, maybe if you kind of give it some, held it tight, kind of push on it like that to keep it together. Take this, line it up. You can give it a little turn to get it started. That'll hold it. And then take your tool. This helps line everything up. And turn it. Now you see, you have your pin, but it's not lined up, so back it off a little bit until your pin snaps into one of them grooves. That'll make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure this turns. It should turn, I think it's 90 degrees one way and 90 degrees the other. The pin actually keeps it from turning all the way around. Now you can turn and, let's see. Okay, there it goes. And then now you can take your key out. Then we take our lock assembly. We slide it keyhole first, back into the lock. Take our screw, line it up. Tighten it all the way down. There you go. Now, I'm ready to install this lock, which I'll do with another video, using my key. And I can do that to every Schlage lock using the same kit. Now the old pins, here's the old, oh come on. Well, luckily I got extras. So the old pin, if you're not sure, I mean, I already know the numbers. You can take your gauge and you can slide the pin along your gauge to see what size it is. So this, oh my goodness, really? Let me get it up here this way. There. You take your pin, you can slide it, and this is a 7. So then I can sit there and drop them in. Actually, I don't look. Yeah, there we go. That's a 3. And that's it. I lost a couple pins and a spring, but I have, the kit comes with a whole bunch of extras. I'm sure the vacuum cleaner will find that soon enough. And now I can have my locks all with the same key. I can walk around with just one key on my keychain. I have This house has 1, 2, 3, 4 external doors. Then there's some doors inside of that. No, 5 external doors. Actually, there's 6 doors, but 2 of the doors are inside. And there's 2 doors upstairs that have deadbolts on them that go into the attic where the key is in the attic. I don't know what somebody was keeping in the attic before I moved here, that they didn't want somebody, that they were locking people out of going into the attic. I didn't find any Superman suits or bungee cords, so obviously it wasn't sexual. That was nasty. But I have no idea why they got a deadbolt on an attic door. But I'm eventually going to take them out. I mean, I don't need anything like that. But I'll be showing those locks on another video, because I'm going to be doing a video where I am going to upgrade the network in this house and put wireless access points throughout the house so that I have good Wi-Fi reception even in the backyard, on the other side of the house. The way this house is shaped, it's not great for Wi-Fi. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Do me a favor, get some likes, don't likes. I mean, if you don't like the video, and subscribe. Thanks. Have a good one.